Welcome to Storytime with Pastor Steve. Today's story is The Temple King Solomon Built. It is based on 1 Kings chapter 5. It's written by Joanne M. Bates and illustrated by Bill Hewer. King David had lots of sons. He loved them every one. Young Solomon grew secure with school and games and fun. He knew that someday he would sit upon his father's throne. He did the best to learn about the jobs that must be done. Tell me again, he'd ask his dad, about your plans to build a house to worship our great God on Arura's threshold floor field. Yes, son, the king would say, for there an angel paused when God in mercy stopped the plague my selfishness had caused. I said to Nathan, God's prophet, now see, I like my new palace to suit my family, but in a tent God's ark has been, it shouldn't have a new house fancy like mine. What is the ark? Asked Solomon. The big boat where Noah did ride? No, it's the box Moses made long ago to keep the 10 Commandments inside. But I must not build it. I've fought long, hard wars. Nathan heard God say that task would be yours. So look in the storerooms at all I am saving of silver and bronze and gold for your having. When David grew too old to reign, he said, now you are king. You'll have a throne and chariots. You'll wear my royal ring. The new king went to Gibeon to seek God's guidance there, and near the big bronze altar he offered up a prayer. God talked to Solomon that night, saying, what can I give to you? Thinking about all the people he'd lead, he asked to be good, wise, and true. Because he was humble, God granted his wishes. King Solomon had power, fame, wisdom, and riches. No other king has ever been so great and wise as he. He told of plants and animals, of fishes in the sea. Writing a song was easy for him. Proverbs God brought into mind. When asked to decide about matters of law, Solomon was both fair and kind. At last, he was ready, the temple to start. The people of Israel were glad to take part. 2 months at home, then 1 month in Lebanon, cutting the fir trees and cedar to float down. King Hiram of Tyre gladly sold them the wood. He sent his own servants to help as they could. Foreigners were picked to carry burdens to and from the boats. Others cut stones from the mountains, frightening deers and billy goats. No banging, clanging noise bothered workers at the building site. They simply put together pieces other men had cut just right. First foundations deep and sturdy, then the walls reached the sky. Ceiling, narrow windows, pillars, gold and jewels placed low and high. In the Holy of Holies room, where God's ark soon would be, gold-covered angels' statues stood, spreading their wings protectively. Golden lampstands had candles. A special table held showbread. Sacrifices would be on the altar as the laws of God had said. For 7 years, the work progressed on Mountain Moriah. It was done, till Solomon's grand and glorious temple finished glistened in the evening sun. The Israelites came joyfully to dedicate God's house. On a stage so all could see, King Solomon knelt reverently. He prayed for God above to bless the temple, folks, and land. He prayed for mercy from the Lord. He prayed with outstretched hands. Then suddenly heavenly fire, burned sacrifices there. God's glory, a bright cloud came down. The Lord had heard the prayer. How happy were the celebrants! They had a great big feast. For 7 days they all rejoiced, people, king, and priest. The temple showed God's holiness, his presence watchful eye. For all who trust and will obey, God still is watching nigh. In the Old Testament, God had Solomon build the temple. In the New Testament, Jesus tells us, you and me, that we are the temple of God, that he lives in us. We need to treat ourselves and each others with respect and love, because in each of us lives God. May God continue to work in us to love and forgive each other. May God bless you today.